Okay, official good morning to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We're beginning today in a standing position. So let's just arrive. Let's feel ourselves down into our base, our feet. So give yourselves a moment to feel down into your base. Create a good solid base for yourself. Feel into the feet. Let's rock forward onto the toes, back into the heels. And then let's sway side to side so we feel the inside and the outside of the feet. And then let's come all the way to stillness. Let's wiggle the toes. And then plant the feet. Let's soften the knees. Take some breaths right down here into the belly. Let's soften the belly. Moving up, let's wiggle the fingers. Let's give the shoulders a little bit of movement, rolling the shoulders up, down, and back. And then settling the shoulders down, let's bring some movement into the neck. So gently tipping the ear towards the shoulder, back to center. And then bring the head all the way to stillness. Let's check in with the face. So let's check in with the jaw and the mouth. Maybe bring a little bit of movement. Soften the jaw. Unclench the teeth. And then moving up to the eyebrows and the area in between the eyes. Maybe raising the eyebrows, maybe scrunching up. And then releasing, softening. Feel that softening spread all the way up to the crown of the head. Then eventually, let's bring everything to stillness. And we'll just begin to breathe right down into the belly. Filling the belly up. Exhale. Let that breath go. It's okay if you'd like to bring the hands here to the belly so you can really witness the air moving in and out. Feel free to do what feels natural for you for the next 4 or 5 breaths. You may like to count your breath, count your inhale and count your exhale. Maybe you'd like to begin to match. Inhale and exhale for the same count. Now let's begin to return our breath back to just a normal rhythm. Stay here a few breaths. Now I'm going to give you a moment to retrieve a prop. I'm going to use a block today, but if you don't have a block nearby, you can also, where's my blanket. You can also bring a blanket as your prop. So the blanket or the block is going to come right in between the legs. So in between the hips and the knees, somewhere in there, we're bringing the block or the blanket. I'll be honest, the blanket is more comfortable, but if you have a block, you may notice that you're getting a little bit more sensation. You can push against the block a little bit more because it's more substantial, but the blanket will do just fine. So that block is coming right in between the legs, in between hip and knee. And that naturally sets us up about feet hip width distance apart. Now we're just going to begin to bring a bit of awareness right here into this area by adding the block. We're holding the block there. But now we're going to begin to rotate the muscles, pulling the muscles in towards the block. See if you can feel that sensation of the muscles rotating around to hold this block here. Soften the knees. Keep that engagement and awareness right here in the legs, and then just kind of ignore that block. Just keep it there, keep the awareness there. On our next breath in, let's let the arms float all the way up to about shoulders, and then we soften, exhale, let the arms drift back down. Hands stay soft. Now this time as the arms rise up, let's open the arms out to the sides, palms facing down, elbows are heavy. Let's let the arms drift down by our sides. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, floating back down like the wings of a bird. Inhale. Exhale. And release, arms all the way back down by our sides. Let's roll the shoulders up, back and down. Just a few more times. Up, back and down. And then once again, arms come right here in front. Let's inhale, arms all the way up, and then we're going to go slightly past shoulder height. Reaching up, the palms open up to face me. And then we're going to let the hands drift from one side across to the other side. So just imagine that you're making your way down a mountain trail, winding side to side. You can bring a sway into the whole body if you'd like. We're still holding on to that block. We can sway side to side. Once you have reached the bottom of the mountain, let's inhale, rising up, and then we drift all the way back down one more time. Keep that breath moving. All the way back down. Let's inhale, arms to shoulder height, and then open up, arms to the side. This time, palms facing forward. Let's wrap the arms around ourselves. So wrap yourself all the way up. This hand comes to this shoulder. This hand comes around to this side, hugging in. You can dip down a little bit, even tuck in a little. And then inhale, open all the way back up, palms facing forward, elbows are soft. Exhale, hugging all the way in. Inhale, open. Exhale, hugging in. one more. Inhale. Exhale, hugging in. Inhale, opening. Exhale, letting the arms float all the way back down. Now we still have our block here. If you're still with me here on the block, we're keeping it right here. We're going to move into a chair flow. So block stays right here. We're going to inhale nice and tall. And then on our exhale, we're going to sit the hips back. Now keep the hands low for now. You can have the hands resting right here on top of the legs. You can have your arms reaching forward. Soft elbows. Inhale, rising all the way back up. Exhale, sitting the hips back. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sitting the hips back. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sitting the hips back. Now from here, we're going to make our way into a fold. So we're still sitting back with the hips. We're just going to hinge forward. We can stack the arms on top of the legs. Inhale, we'll rise all the way up. If you'd like to incorporate the arms, you can sweep the arms to the sides. Bring everything back to heart center. Exhale, sit the hips back. And then fold. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sitting back. Folding. And then rising. Two more just like this. Sitting the hips back. Folding forward. Inhale, rising all the way up. Let's come all the way here to heart center. Now let's remove the block. Whew, that's a relief. So if you have something nearby that you can hold on to, we are going to be just shifting the weight side to side a little bit. If you need a little support from a chair or some piece of furniture, you can use that, or the wall. We're just going to shift side to side. And then shift completely to one side, freeing up this side, and bring a little movement down here into the ankle and the foot. So this is where it's nice to have something to balance. Bringing weight back down into that foot, swaying to the other side, all the weight into this side, lifting this foot, rotating the ankle. We can point and flex the foot, just bringing a little bit of movement down there into the ankle and the foot. And then swaying side to side, widening out just a bit here. So not too wide, just a bit wider than normal. Let everything just become soft and flowing. Now let's really move weight into one side. See if we can lift, maybe become very light on the other side, possibly lifting the foot. Soften the knees, sway to the other side, possibly lifting, maybe just coming, tapping that toe right here on the floor, possibly lifting the leg. Soften the knees, flow to the other side. Soften, shift, and flow. Now, you can begin to incorporate the whole body, moving into starfish. Make sure you're breathing, inhaling, exhaling. Let's make this our last one. And coming all the way back to center. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. 2 more. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. I'm going to turn to face this way. I'm going to be up here at the top of my mat. Let's shift weight into the right leg so that we can free up this left leg to step back. Step back a comfortable distance and then take the left foot and pivot and plant. Let's keep the hips towards this front leg. Inhale and then exhale, sink. Now from here, if you'd like to incorporate some arms, we're going to open arms out to the sides, palms facing forward. And we're going to move right back into that hugging flow. So inhale, and then exhale, hugging the arms around yourself. You can hinge forward just a bit, hugging everything in, and then inhale, open up. Start small here. And then as you get more used to the movement, you can make it bigger. Now coming all the way up, opening up. Let's bring the left hand around to the right knee, or the top of the right leg, wherever it happens to reach. Let's bring the right hand around and support ourselves right here at the low back or at the right hip. Now from here, let's just guide ourselves into a nice gentle twist. So let's try not to use our left hand to pull us around. Let's just see if we can gently guide ourselves into a twist. Let's come all the way back to center. Release the arms by our sides. We'll begin to rotate, turning all the way towards the front, opening up here. So I have turned to open my toes out to the corners of the room. Give yourself a moment here to sort of wiggle everything out. It might feel good to bring a little movement here into the hips. And we'll begin moving into our Moonflowers flow. So for this morning, I'm just going to keep my elbows bent here. So oftentimes we have the arms all the way extended up. For this morning, I'm just going to keep the elbows bent. We all have a lot of shoveling to do out there, so let's be kind to the shoulders today. So inhale here, and then exhale, let's sink. Let the elbows droop down, sink down into the center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Three more here. Inhale, exhale. Making this our last one. Coming all the way up, letting the arms float right back down by our sides. Let's drop the hips just a bit, so sinking down into the legs. We're going to move into a triangle variation. So we're going to try to keep the legs just as they are, soften the knees, drop the hips down a bit. We're going to, hopefully this comes across on camera right and left, but if it doesn't, just follow me like a mirror image. We're going to take this arm all the way down to rest on the outside of this leg. So for me, this is my right side, but you can just mirror image me. This hand slides down this leg, and we begin just a tip to the side. The hand continues to slide down. This arm, since we're being very kind to our shoulder today, this hand can stay right here on the hip, or you can open up to a cactus shape on this side, bending the elbow. Make sure the knees are soft, and breathe. Let's begin to make our way all the way back up. Give the hips a little bit of movement here. Soften the knees and just move the hips maybe around in a circle, forward and back, side to side. Now we're going to begin to make our way all the way back up to the top of our mat. So let's begin to turn the feet. So we arrive here, all 10 toes forward. Let's soften down into the legs. If you have something here you'd like to hold on to, stepping all the way forward. Left foot comes all the way up. Let's take some time for a couple deep breaths here. Position yourself in mountain pose. Arms down by the side, or you can bring the hands to heart center. Now I'm going to shift sides just so it's a little bit more visible. We're going to move weight into the left side this time. Freeing up the right foot to step back. Once that foot has stepped back, let's pivot and plant the foot down. Hips are facing towards this front leg. Inhale, exhale, sink. Now this time, if you'd like to add some arms here, we're extending out to the sides. This time, palms up. I'm going to rotate here a little bit, so it might be a little bit easier to see in this way. Palms are facing up. We're going to imagine that we have something in one of our hands, possibly a ball, and we're going to toss that ball all the way over to the other hand. Catch, toss, and catch. If you're feeling like you'd like to challenge yourself, follow that ball all the way up and over to the other hand. Up and over. One more here. Now let's bring our right hand over to rest on top of the left leg. Somewhere on top of the left leg, maybe down towards the knee, just kind of depends. Let's take the left hand, bring it to the left hip or around to the low back. Let's guide ourselves into a nice gentle twist. Remember, this right hand is not pulling us. We're using the belly to pull ourselves into this twist. So the right hand does not really have to be involved at all. Inhale, exhale, rotating, starting from the belly, moving all the way up into the chest. Let's come all the way back. Release the arms. Let's begin to move the feet, turning ourselves forward, angling the toes out to the corners. Give yourself a moment here. Soften the knees. Bring movement into the hips. Bring breath down here into the hips. And then we'll find our way back into our moonflowers flow. Keeping the elbows bent, palms forward. Inhale, exhale, sink. Just melt down. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sinking. Let's make this our last one. And then release the arms down by our sides. Moving into that triangle variation on this side. So soften the knees, sink the hips down just a bit. Take this hand and slide it down the outside of the leg. Begin to feel that stretch, that tipping feeling. We're scrunching ourselves on this side and we're opening up, expanding on this side. This hand can come to the hip. Or you can open up, releasing the arm out to a cactus shape. Use your breath here. Let's inhale our way all the way back up. Now let's change our stance just a bit. So let's angle the feet forward. So now the feet are parallel with one another, still a bit wide here. But now the feet are parallel. Let's soften the knees, drop the hips. And then let's hinge right here at the hip crease, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So you can bend at the elbows, relax the elbows down onto the tops of the legs, right above the knees. Or if you're feeling up to it, the hands can drift all the way down to your mat. If you have your block still handy, you can have your block here, and that can be a resting place for the hands. Feel free here to shift side to side. Relax the hips, relax the low back. Kind of bring a gentle sway side to side. Now, from here, we're going to make our way down onto all fours. So take your time here. You can have fun here. Maybe you'd like to use your block and come down first to a squat position. And then begin to make your way down towards the mat. Take your time here. There's absolutely no rush. Have your block handy. So if you have your block still nearby, bring it along with you as we make our way down to all fours. So once we've arrived here in all fours, let's really lengthen out the spine, tailbone to the top of the head, make a nice flat tabletop. Take a couple deep breaths here, just bring everything to stillness. And now let's begin to sit the hips back, moving into child's pose. Or it might feel more comfortable to keep the hips higher. Let the forearms and forehead drift down towards the mat. If you have your block here, really nice place for the forehead to rest. On your next inhale, let's come back up to all fours. We're going to bring the block, if you choose, right in between the legs again. So you may have to adjust here, just a bit. Bring that block right in between the legs, between the hip and the knee, right in the inner leg, inner thigh area, and then come back to your all fours position. Now see if you can rotate, pressing the legs towards the edges of your block or blanket, whatever you may have. From here, keeping that block just where it is, engaging the inner thighs, moving right into our cat position. So inhale first, and then exhale, push the belly button all the way up. Tuck the chin, tuck the tail. Now we're going to hold here for a few breaths, so let the air come in and out. Now your next inhale, nice and easy, nice and slow. Begin to reverse this all the way into cow position. So our gaze comes forward towards the top edge of our mat, if that's comfortable. The tailbone lifts, the belly sways down. So the belly button is now reaching towards the floor. Take a few breaths here. On your next exhale, begin to make that journey all the way back up into cat pose. Draw the belly button up. Squeeze that block right here. And then inhale, begin to make your way all the way back, reversing that into cow. Let the belly button fall down towards the floor. One more, just like that. Exhale, drawing up, 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 up. Squeeze the block here. Inhale, letting everything come forward, belly button drops. Now let's come back to just a neutral spine, flat back, tabletop. Let's remove the block. From here, we're going to make our way into rabbit pose, or if you're not a big fan of rabbit pose, shifting back into child's pose. So in rabbit's pose, we have our hands just like we do in all fours, and we begin to lower the crown of the head down in between the hands. Now you do have a block here, so it might be nice to use a block. If it feels more comfortable, we're bringing the crown of the head right here onto the top of the block, the blanket, the pillow, or all the way down onto your mat. Feeling that place right on the top of your head, the crown of your head. Feeling a little bit of weight there, but we don't want too much weight. We don't want to put a lot of pressure into the neck and into the shoulders. Now, in our next inhale, let's make our way back up to all fours. We're going to use our block again for sunbird. So this is kind of fun. And I think it makes Sunbird just a little bit more fun and interesting. So bring your block underneath your left knee. So the knee is up on the block. And then we come to our normal all fours position. It's kind of an off kilter all fours position. Now you're not far from the floor, so don't be fearful if you start to feel off balance. You're right here, so you won't fall very far. And I don't really think you're going to fall at all. So let's begin to lighten up, move weight out of the right knee. So we feel that shift. We've had to now move weight into the hands and into the left knee. The left knee is balancing on top of this block. Tops of the toes are down on your mat, tops of your left toes. Give you a little bit more balance. Now let's press that right heel up towards the ceiling. Bend in the right knee, right heel pressing up. Now let's begin to draw that knee all the way through and towards the belly. Inhale. That heel presses all the way up. Exhale, knee drifts into the belly. Just a few more breaths here. Pressing the heel, drawing the knee in. And then let's return that right knee all the way back down to the mat. Bringing that block out from underneath the left knee. Let's press our way back into child's pose or something that feels a bit better for you, hips higher. You can use your block here as a resting place for the forehead. Nice deep breaths in here. Exhale, sighing out. And when you're ready, making your way back to all fours. Let's work on Sunbird on the other side. So, bringing your block underneath your right knee. If you like that on the other side, if you didn't particularly care for it, the block doesn't have to be here. You can just work on Sunbird without the block. But we are in the dead of winter, in the middle of a pandemic, and so anything that brings us the least bit of excitement, like our knee on a block, might be fun to try. Right toes on your mat for a little bit more balance and support. Let's shift weight out of that left knee. Rebalance, recalibrate yourself, and then press that left heel up towards the ceiling. And then drawing the knee through, in towards the belly. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, drawing through. How about one more? And then lowering that left knee back down, coming off our block. Now, your choice here to make your way back into rabbit pose. The crown of the head comes down either onto your block or onto your mat, or child's pose, or hips higher, lowering the forearms, elbows, and head. Here in puppy pose, you can also use your block to rest the head. Now let's begin to make our way into first a seated position. And then we'll swing the legs around. Coming here with knees bent, feet out in front of us. Let's bring the hands behind the legs and just gently tip belly towards the tops of the legs. See if we can bring ourselves into a nice upright position, nice straight long spine. And now playing around a little bit with boat pose. You may find that you can keep the hands right behind the legs and move your way into boat pose from here. Keep the belly drawing towards the tops of the legs. Another option is to bring hands back behind, fingertips facing towards you, and lift. Keep the belly drawn in towards the legs, but use the hands as support so that we're not rocking too far back. You may find that you may start one way and change to the other way. Keep the belly towards the legs. Let's bring the feet back down to the mat. And then bring soles of the feet together. Let the knees come out to the side. You can bring the hands around to the fronts of the legs or to rest on the knees. Being very mindful here. See how this feels first. Let's begin to hinge down into this space that we've created right here in the center of the legs, just hinging forward. Keep the spine pretty straight here. So it's okay if you'd like to tip the chin down, but instead of rounding, letting everything collapse, let's keep some integrity in the spine. Bringing ourselves all the way back up. I'll just point out one other option in this seated butterfly or bound angle posture. Let me scoot back so you can see a little bit better. Since we are using our blocks today, see if you can play around with your block. Whoa, I'm really off camera here trying to do this. Bring your block out some distance in front of you and then move into that bound ankle or seated butterfly position with the feet elevated a bit. See how that changes things. May feel okay, may not feel okay. If it doesn't feel okay, we don't do it. But it just adds a little excitement on this snowy day. Okay. Now we're going to begin to make our way down to a reclining position on our mat. I'd like to use our blocks or our blankets, whatever we have today, to do a supported bridge. So bring everything with you. You'll need that equipment right here at your side so that when we're ready and in position, we'll have it. So gently guide your way all the way down. Let's keep the knees bent here. Let the low back relax. Gentle sway side to side with the knees. If you'd like, if it feels right for you right now in the moment, you can draw both knees in or one knee at a time. And now let's begin to make our way into supported bridge. If you'd like to add this to your practice, I'm going to come away from my mat just for a moment so that I can give some guidance to you on the placement of the block. So you're going to be down on your mat reclining, knees bent, using the soles of your feet to press into your mat, lifting the bottom off the floor. We slide that block in so that it's resting right here at the sacrum, not too high up. If it's too high up, then you're right there in the low back, the lumbar region, which is going to be really tender. So right here at the sacrum area. Basically right here, kind of on the bottom. And what that does is it elevates and opens up this whole muscle right here, the psoas muscle, which gets pretty tight. So people who have been working on this for a long time can put their block in higher positions, all the way up so they're this high. I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it, but you're at home and so you can play around with it at home. I would keep your block here on the lowest setting. So here with this wide part, right here on the sacrum. And then you let the hips just rest down on the block. You can keep the knees bent, relax the arms out to the sides, and just breathe. We're breathing right here into the belly, feeling the breath moving here to open up the front of the body. If this feels okay, and you'd like to lengthen one leg out, possibly both legs, see how that feels. If you start to notice a pretty extreme pinch in the low back, that's when we ease off. And that's when you come off the block, roll to the side and come off the block and come down to the mat and draw the knees in. So a little sensation in the low back is fine. Too much pinching and pain. This exercise is just not going to be a good option for you. So we're going to breathe. We're going to let gravity do all the work here. Let the arms relax. Maybe it feels good to have the palms facing up. Relax the shoulders. Relax the neck. Relax the head. If your legs are lengthened out and extended, let's bend one knee and then the other, bringing the soles of the feet back to the floor. Grab underneath, grab your block, lift the hips up and away from the block, and then slide your block off to the side, and then gently, slowly begin to zipper yourself all the way back down onto the floor. Once the hips have touched down, the low back is touched down, you can begin drawing in one knee and then the other. Inhale, exhale. Let's draw both knees in. At the same time, bring the hands on top of the kneecaps. Inhale here, exhale, draw a big circle. Knees go away from one another and come back to center. Inhale, away, exhale, back together. One more circle. And draw the knees in, round yourself, maybe into a little ball. Lift the head, maybe try to touch the nose with the knee. And then let everything come all the way back down. Soles of the feet to the floor, opening up the arms, palms facing up. Let's let the knees begin to drift over toward the right. Relax the shoulders down into your mat. Perhaps you'd like to bring your gaze over towards the left arm. Bringing our gaze back to center, and then bringing our knees back to center. Readjusting, swaying the knees side to side once or twice. And then the knees drift towards the left. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. Possibly your gaze comes over towards the right arm. Let's inhale, knees back to center. And making any final movements that you'd like to make. Adding any items you'd like to add. Making sure that for final rest, you're nice and warm and cozy. Adding layers back on, socks. Adding blankets, sweatshirts. Beginning to settle your body down into a resting position. Use your breath to let areas of your body soften, maybe areas that you're still feeling a bit of tension. Once you've scanned that down through the body, using the breath to soften, let's begin to withdraw awareness from sensations in the body. And we'll begin to focus just on the simple in and out of the breath. Taking in a nice deep breath, letting it go, sighing it out. One more just like that. Inhale, filling all the way up. Exhale, sighing out, letting it all go. Beginning to feel into the body, beginning to wake up. Notice the sounds in your room. Notice the light, the feel of the air. Beginning to stretch. And maybe if you're ready, adjusting your position. Let's join together for a nice deep breath in, gathering everything right here to heart center. May you move through your day with ease. May you find peace and harmony today. Namaste.